This is the BMW F900 XR, a brand new middleweight motorcycle that offers the performance and handling of a street naked with the comfort of a touring machine. The question is, does this have what it takes to fit the bill? For the uninitiated, the F900 XR shares its engine and frame with the F900R, a street naked motorcycle that we recently pitted against its competitors. However, the XR is markedly different in a few aspects, owing to its sport touring orientation. I wouldn't really call this motorcycle pretty, but purposeful is more like it. In fact, I like the way this half fairing has been integrated with the rest of the motorcycle, and I think overall it's a nice and cohesive design. The twin LED headlight lends the motorcycle a distinct face, while the fairing, 15.5-litre fuel tank, and long travel suspension adds to the stance of the F900 XR. The windscreen can be adjusted in two ways. This is the lower setting and you can pull this lever and raise the height. Now even in this position, there is good amount of wind deflection, but at the same time that causes no helmet buffeting. Also, you might wonder that the screen is a little small, but considering a hot and humid climate, it's nice to have some wind blowing around you on your chest and on your head. The tail section, however, is a carbon copy of the F900R, which isn't an entirely bad thing. In fact, the stubby tail lamp, indicator and number plate holder doubles up as the factory-fitted tail tidy unit and puts up the 180 section tire on full display. The downside is that the rear seat isn't as spacious as you'd expect from a big touring-focused machine. This is the best part about a sport tourer because unlike a street naked where you're sitting in a cramped position, over here you sit upright and comfortably. At 825mm, the seat is reasonably accessible while the reach to the handlebar feels natural. The foot pegs aren't aggressively rear set either. However, if you are a 6-footer or taller, you'll find that the XR doesn't have much room to move around. And we also discovered that it is not very comfortable over a full day of riding. Quality and finish levels leave nothing to complain about, while the 6.5-inch color TFT display is crisp and looks premium. Accessing the menu using the drum-like 4-way scroller next to the left switch cube is easy. And then there's the convenience of Bluetooth connectivity and navigation, which is slowly turning out to be a must-have feature these days. So far, the F900 XR looks like a decently equipped sport tourer, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating, or in this case, riding. And that's where you notice BMW's approach towards its parallel twin engine. This engine offers decent tractability in the city and offers good and solid punch from 4,500 RPM onwards. That said, if you want to really feel the rush, you have to open the throttle all the way to the stop. Turns out, BMW has reserved quite a bit of the acceleration to the last few millimeters of the throttle opening. It means you literally have to wring it to the stop when you want to get going at a quick pace. Now, not only does it add to the effort required to use the full performance from the 105 HP 92Nm engine, but it also erodes the fun factor to some extent. Now, you can blame that to the company's decision to only offer rain and road modes as standard in India. However, for extra money, BMW offers the Dynamic and Dynamic Pro modes as part of the optional Pro Ride modes package. Opting for this lets you access sharper throttle responses, but also brings in improved electronic assist. This includes cornering traction control and ABS systems, as well as motor slip regulation and dynamic brake control. While the standard TC and ABS systems work well, lean sensitivity adds an additional and much needed layer of safety. It goes without saying that this is an optional extra you probably want to have. The caveat is the price for the Pro Mode package,
which is a whopping rupees 1 lakh, and that's excluding labor charges. Now, on the subject of electronics, there are other things that could have been better too.
One of the gripes that I've got with this motorcycle is the quick shifter system. I wish that it wasn't so clunky, especially at low speeds, and I wish that during the downshift it was a little bit more smoother.
Now, while this quick shifter requires quite a lot of effort from your leg to use, the F900 XR does manage to redeem itself in the ride and handling department.
Although these fat USD forks are non-adjustable, they have been set up really well, so it offers a good balance between ride and handling.
It offers a nice and plush ride over undulations as well as bad roads. And since this is the Pro model, there's the added convenience of an electronically adjustable monoshock. You can select between comfort and dynamic modes and also set up the preload for the additional weight of a passenger or luggage. One must bear in mind though that the ride quality is very good as per sport bike standards, but it's not the sort of plush ride you'd expect from a proper ADV, and some caution is still required over back bumps and potholes. The advantage then of this street bike on stilts setup lies in the enjoyable handling of the XR. Set the monoshock to dynamic, which then adjusts damping automatically as per the road surface. Trust the communicative front end, and you're in for a good time in the twisties. The wide handlebar makes tipping in the bike quite effortless, and the amount of grip from the fantastic Michelin Road 5 GT tires adds to the confidence levels. In all, think of the XR as a comfortable, sporty road bike with decent ground clearance, suspension travel, and engaging handling. But it is definitely not an adventure motorcycle, and that is why we never took it off-road.
But one of the other reasons why you can really push this motorcycle hard with so much confidence are the brakes. These Brembos offer strong and progressive bite, and at the same time there's good feedback through the lever. So on the whole, I'm really impressed with the braking setup on this motorcycle. So to answer the question that we asked in the beginning of this test, does the BMW F900 XR fit the bill? Well, in many ways it does. It offers decent performance, the ride is good, and the handling is probably one of the best things about this motorcycle. At the same time, you are seated in this upright and comfortable position, and I think that really gives it a little of an upper hand over its street naked sibling. But all of this comes at a really expensive price tag.
At rupees 12.4 lakh, the F900 XR Pro comes across as a pricey proposition, especially since the Pro modes cost a lakh more. In fact, for less money, the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX or the Versys 1000 are very capable sport tourers with IMU based electronics and much more powerful 4-cylinder engines right out of the box. Nevertheless, if you've got your heart set on the most affordable of BMW sport tourers, the F900 XR in the standard trim makes better sense at rupees 10.95 lakh. It gets a manually adjustable rear shock instead of the electronic one and loses out on the quick shifter. That's about the only difference between the two variants. But more importantly, it costs only a few thousands more than the F900R, and that makes it a proposition worth stretching for.